Hi friends, in this video I am going to explain how an IAS aspirant should study and obtain knowledge for the IAS examination. In the present times, there is no shortage of resources for IAS aspirants, both offline and online. There are many people to give you advice, support and guidance. There are many facilities in the form of libraries, academies and so on. But if you look closely, most IAS aspirants right now, they have not understood the nature of the examination itself. And specifically, they are not studying in the right manner. In fact, they are not studying at all. What they are doing is that in a mechanical manner, they are memorizing many things, facts, figures, statistics, numbers and so on. In short, most IAS aspirants are just memorizing many bundles of facts in an unorganized manner. UPSC Civil Services Examination or the IAS examination as it is called. This examination itself is a test of your knowledge, your conceptual knowledge and your in-depth understanding. This is not a mechanical exercise or competition for memorizing many things, right? So one should study by understanding various concepts, right? This should be done in a cognitive and logical manner. But like I said, most students are not doing this. In this video, I am going to explain how to study for the examination through a real-time demo. I am going to use a standard book, Laxmikanth for Indian Polity. I am going to explain how to study a chapter. Okay. So this will be a short video only, but you will definitely understand how to study properly. Please remember this. Whatever you study, whatever subject you study, you should simultaneously write down and study. You can even throw the paper in the dustbin, it doesn't matter, but you should write and study. Notes taking can be done if needed. You can mark or highlight in the book itself and study, but whatever you study, you should simultaneously write down and study. But most students, they are not doing this. They will take the book, orally they will read, or visually they will see. This is not called studying. I have seen many students, they will say, sir, I read the book 15 times. I am not able to obtain the knowledge. I keep forgetting. The reason is that you are not conceptually understanding anything. You are just orally trying to memorize facts. If you do in this manner, even if you read 100 times, you will forget again and again. That's why students, they will read throughout there and again they will forget. So this is the problem. So whatever you study, you should write simultaneously and study. In fact, only if you write, it counts as studying. Otherwise, it's not studying at all. If you write and study, one time writing and studying is equivalent to nearly 100 times orally reading. Okay. So you can experience this for yourself. Many students, they will often tell, sir, you are asking us to write and study, but it is taking lots of time. In fact, this is completely wrong. So this understanding is completely wrong. If you write and study, it will greatly economize on time. If you write and study, if you are studying a lesson, if you are writing, understanding and studying, if it takes 1 hour, let's say, if you orally read that lesson, you have to read it 15 times. So if you don't write, if you think that writing is a waste of time, you will be exponentially wasting time later. So this is the right method to study. So don't think writing is a waste of time. And apart from this, when you write and study, you can apprise yourself whether you are studying properly or not. You will check whether you are able to reproduce the knowledge. This will be helpful for your prelims as well as mains. So this is a very basic and powerful practice. So you have to write and study. Okay. Now let's take the book. This is the Laxmikanth book, old version. Don't worry about the version and all. Please focus on the demo. So I am taking chapter number 11, Parliamentary System. Okay. So now I am going to study this chapter. Okay. Now let me start. The Constitution of India provides for a parliamentary form of government both at the center and in the state. Article 74 and 75 deal with parliamentary system at the center, and Article 163 and 164 in the states. Now here most students, they will try to mug up the article 74, 75, 163, 164. This is completely wrong. Obtain the knowledge. So take the rough note. Write down. Parliamentary system. So write down. Okay. Then what you have studied, Constitution of India provides for parliamentary system at both center and state. So write down. First point. Center and state, we have a parliamentary system. Understand that the parliamentary system is some system. Okay. We are yet to see what it is. But just remember, it is a form of system. In India, it is present in both center and state. Okay. So write down. Now what are the articles? 74, 75 center, 163, 164 state. Write down. Don't try to memorize it. Even if you forget, you can recollect it through revision. It's not an issue. But don't miss on the understanding. Now, once again, let me start studying once again. Modern democratic governments are classified into parliamentary and presidential on the basis of the nature of relationship between executive and legislative organs of the government. So, what I studied just now, democratic governments around the world are largely divided into two types. One is parliamentary and the other is presidential. So, using a simple chart, yes, I am like a flow chart. I am writing down democracy, two main types of democracy I am writing here. Okay. Now I have written this. Then, now this I should understand and write. I should not do this in a mechanical manner. So, these are largely the two forms of democracies observed worldwide. Now, let's study once again. On the basis of relationship between executive and legislative. We have already studied about these two. What is legislative? Legislative is the pillar of democracy that is in charge of law making. For example, the MLAs, MPs, they belong to legislative. Who are the executive? The people who are in charge of administering the country, who are formulating the policy scheme, who are implementing the policies and scheme. They are the executive. They are none but the ministers. So, this you might have already studied. So, write it down. Executive. Executive means those who are in charge of government. Next, legislative. The lawmakers. Right? So, once again write down. Right? Understand and write. Okay? Then, study once again. So, based on these two components, executive and legislature only, these two types of governments are being run across the world. Okay? Now let's see. The parliamentary system of government is the one in which executive is responsible to the legislatures for their policies and act. The presidential system of government, on the other hand, is one in which the executive is not responsible to the legislature for its policies and acts, and it's constitutionally independent. So, what I just studied now, in the parliamentary form of government, the executive is responsible to the legislature. So, here we have executive. Here we have the larger legislature. The executive itself is a subset of the legislature. Yes or no? In the Indian Parliament, Lok Sabha for example, the minister in Lok Sabha is an executive, but he himself is an MP. MPs belong to legislatures. So, in a parliamentary form of government, executive is a part of legislature. So automatically executive is responsible to legislature. For example, if a MP raises a question, opposition MP raises a question, the minister should answer. So here, what do we observe here? We observe accountability. So let me write down, accountability is here. Who is accountable? Executive is accountable to legislature. On the other hand, what did I study? In a presidential form of government, executive is not responsible to legislature. It is independent. So once again I can draw a Venn diagram. So here, in a presidential form of government, executive and legislature, they are separate. Executive is not responsible for answering for the legislature. So through simple flow charts, diagrams, you can write like this. It is not compulsory you have to draw like this. Based on your understanding, you can draw. Notes should be very simple in nature. Okay, so writing down, you can use flow chart, hints, diagrams and so on. Right? In case if you don't want to draw also, it doesn't matter. In your own style, you can write down, but ultimately you should understand. Right? So now I have understood everything so far what I have studied. Parliamentary system, accountability, presidential system, independence, no accountability. Okay, ultimately these two are the larger form of democracies observed around the world. Next paragraph. Parliamentary government, also called cabinet government or responsible government or Westminster model of government. I need not research what's Westminster. I have to just learn Westminster model of government. So I should understand the other name of parliamentary form of government is Westminster form of government. Don't immediately go to Google and research about Westminster. Not needed for IAS examination. This is prevalent in countries like Britain, Japan, Canada, India and so on. So once again, let me write. Parliamentary form of government, also called responsible, Westminster. Okay. Now, what are the important countries? India, Britain, Canada and so on. Once again I am writing here. Okay. Now if I write like this, I will not forget. India, our constitution, many things we derived from Britain. So parliamentary system was also mainly derived from Britain only. Next. The presidential system, on the other hand, is also known as non-responsible, non-parliamentary or fixed executive system. It is prevalent in countries like USA, Brazil, Russia, Sri Lanka and so on. So once again I am writing presidential, non-responsible, non-parliamentary. Okay, it is prevalent in countries like US, Sri Lanka, okay, and so on, right? China and so on, right? So once again I am writing down. So if I write like this, I will understand everything easily. I will understand the concept, okay? Next, features of parliamentary government. First feature, nominal and real executive. Okay, who is executive here? The body, the pillar in democracy which is in charge of running the country, administering the country, okay? Policy making, policy implementation and so on. Now, let's see what is the main principle here. The president is a nominal executive, while the prime minister is a real executive in parliamentary democracy. So, let's see what is this de jure executive. De jure means the nominal head only in name he is a head. So, let me write. De jure, nominal, which means only by title he is a head, okay, which means simply dummy like, okay, so just by name. So who is he? The president. In a parliamentary democracy like India, he is a de jure head by name only, okay, he is a nominal head. On the other hand, who is the real head? The prime minister is the real head here, okay. The president is the head of the state, while prime minister is the head of the government. Okay, so once again, let me write. Who is the real head? Prime Minister. He is the de facto head. De facto means real head, right? De jure means dummy, just by name, nominal only. De facto real head. So who is the real head here? PM is the real head. So once again I am writing. Okay, once again I will return. Now, who is the head of state in India? President. Who is the nominal head? Is the head of state. Who is the head of government? Prime Minister, PM is the head of government. Okay, once again I am writing here. So please remember, PM, head of government, de facto head. President, head of state, de jure head. To understand even better, let me write here, Mr. Ramnath Govind, the President of India. I am writing by the side. PM, I am writing Mr. Modi by the side. So my understanding will go to the next level. Okay, so PM, Mr. Modi, de facto head, head of government. Mr. Govind, de jure head, nominal head, head of state. So I am writing down like this. If I study in this manner, if I understand the concept and study, whatever I study, I will memorize. I will keep the concept in my mind, and this will stay for many years. If I study in this manner, whatever I studied, it will stay in my mind for many years. But if I just study orally, if I read orally, if I look visually, I will tend to forget within a matter of days. I will not understand anything. Ultimately, it will be a useless exercise. Now, it took only around 11 minutes, I think, approximately, to study so much things. Okay, so you can understand, you can realize that writing down and studying will not take much time. You can write with your own style. Ultimately, you have to understand the concept and simultaneously write down, right? So if you study in this manner, definitely you can study better. This is the best manner for studying for the IAS examination. I hope this video has been helpful to you. All the very best. Thank you.